Hello friends and neighbors, it is me, Raina, Painted Raina, your friendly neighborhood witch of what the f. And I am here tonight to show you how to make this. Pretty, ain't it? I stared at this heart for like 2 hours to decide what to do with it, and I thought, ocean, what do I love more than the ocean? Not much. So Jack helped me plan it. You saw him in the first scene. His furry little sarcastic self said, Raina, do waves and a sea turtle coming out of the heart. And I was like, that's a good cat. He really didn't. Cheers. It's been a while. Really happy to be back and part of this little Piggy love collab with all these amazing artists and some new ones. This is great. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I am as crazy as you think that I might be after like 30 seconds. And if you are not new and you've been here before, cheers for sticking around. That takes some gumption. So once I decided to do waves, I didn't want to do the normal colors. So I actually did a drawing, well, I took a photo of the heart and I imported it into Procreate, which is an app on the iPad. And then I played around with some filters until I found the color choice, like the color scheme you are seeing today. So I decided on kind of like a pink to purple to teal, because hell, why not? Valentine's colors and sunsetty, sunrise, ocean colors, however you want to swing that. And I have had some experience in the past with putting colored resin on a substrate, and it kind of like even if it was mixed, it didn't it didn't flow. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't a nice gradient. It was just kind of like colored boogers. That's disgusting. Like coagulated worms. I'm not making this any better. Anyway, I decided to paint the surface first to give it an underlayment. So if I put the resin over it and it decided to do the gummy worm snot thing, I would be okay. So I used these colors. Here I've got some liquid acrylic. This is a very like, I don't know, off-white buff color. It's actually called Milky White. Not Milky Way, Milky White. Milky white, like my skin in the winter. It's almost see-through, but that's neither here nor there. I matched my colors as best as I could and went and rummaged around in my studio for a while, and the best pink I could find is Amsterdam acrylic in permanent red violet. Here, let me not put a weird shadow on my face. So permanent red violet. The closest purple I could find to Apaganthus is Master's Touch acrylic in gray purple. Did I do it again? There we go. Gray purple. Gray purple. And then I followed it up with the closest I could get to tail feather or mermaid, which was kind of a deeper color, but works well for this application. And this is Amsterdam acrylic again in greenish blue. So I painted it on, did my best to ombre it, you know, make it all snazzy and blendy, and it took a lot longer than I thought it would, and what doesn't, frankly. Once that was dry, it was time to mix resin. I use art resin. I love art resin. It is my absolute favorite for making waves, for really doing any sort of artistic resin work. It is, as far as I'm concerned, the best. I haven't tried all that many, but I really like art resin. I don't really see a reason to change at this point. Maybe I will, I don't know. It's always up for interpretation and experimentation, right? That's like the spice of life. My color scheme that I had decided on, the pink to purple to teal, I looked through like literally all the Piggies, because yes, I have all the Piggies. Every single one. Yes, it takes up a lot of space, which is fine because it's space well taken up. Don't kill me, Billy. The color scheme I decided on was, for my main colors, Afterglow. Gosh darn it, I keep doing that. Afterglow, which is also the name of my favorite blush by NARS. Afterglow is the color that is for paler people than their shade Orgasm, which is like a pinkier pink than this. This is for pale people, Orgasms for like mid-toned people. Just FYI. I'm not I have to check this because I'm gonna say it wrong. If I don't, agapanthus. I keep wanting to say apacanthus. So agapanthus is this lovely gray purple or like silvery lilac. Awesome color. And then for my teal blue, I use my favorite, you know, here, like ode. You can see this. I don't know if you can see the art behind me. Mermaid. Mermaids. I have mermaid art right there too. It's kind of hard to see. I really like mermaids, and mermaid's my favorite color. So happy girl right here. And then I wanted to dress it up a little bit. Oh, and the sand color, I used Latte. I love Whitehaven too, but like, to me, Latte is the color of the beaches that I'm used to in America. I'm not spoiled like Shelley and Irene and all of you Australian people. Mitchell, looking at you. Our sand is just a little darker. Anyway, I needed some, and I don't even know what I did with my latte. It's some like, you can't see what my kitchen looks like right now because I'm in my kitchen. It has like exploded. There's art supplies everywhere. There's like 15 resin pieces that I'm working on, and paint, and like my oil painting setup, and coasters that I make. It's like chaos in here, and I can't find my latte. So just forgive me. You know what it looks like, right? It's perfect. I needed some colors for like highlight and gradient. So the best color ever to go between latte and afterglow is golden peach. Also misplaced the jar, so here we just have it in a little baggie here. But yes, this is Golden Peach by TLP. And then for like a mid-tone between the Afterglow and Agapanthus, actually I used Venus. Venus was perfect for this application. Looks just gorgeous and blends really nicely, and gave just some low lights. And then Tail Feather. Tail Feather was like the perfect complement to Mermaid to bring it down and deep and dark and murky and abysmal and mysterious and all that good stuff. Yeah. So I laid it all out onto the heart after I mixed it with my art resin, starting with the Golden Peach, then the Afterglow, the Agapanthus, the Mermaid, and then I added in the little bits of the Venus and the Tail Feather. And you will see I didn't use Latte in this first round because I didn't want those colors to mix. So I wanted the first wave to break over Golden Peach, so it looks like it was kind of breaking over the sand before it turns the colors of water that we're used to. You'll see I am applying the resin with Fluid Art mixing sticks that you can get from Fluid Art Co. And they're perfect for resin because once the resin's cured, you can just like peel it off, which is nifty, reusable, way better to work with than my typical popsicle sticks. So I take that and start kind of blending the colors because I don't like sharp lines. They drive me insane. I don't think it looks good. So I want to blend the colors as much as possible. So you'll see I did a little bit of a back and forth, like kind of a zipper design almost. And that is how I come up with the best blends. Now my problem is I'm a little too even with my zigzagging, so sometimes I've really got to like zag or like zig and, you know, see if I can come up with something a little more organic looking than my perfectly, you know, do I look insane right now? There is some resin left in the bottom of all of the cups, so at this point I'm just scraping out the remnants and like blobbing it on places where I think there needs to be a little bit more variation in the color. What I haven't talked about yet is the white pigment that I am using to make the waves, which you will see shortly if you're not already seeing it. I'm not like really on track with my video right here. So God, it really is only one of me, be very thankful. I use Armor Art, dang it, again! Armor Art epoxy pigment in white. This is like the third bottle I've bought of this because the first two were completely dried out when I got them. This one's actually all right. And you don't use much, you just like, it's very, very thick. So dip just a little bit in and then mix it with your resin. You can always add more, but you can't add less. Wow, that was a profound thing to say, wasn't it? I've got that chilling on the side while I do all the pretty artsy stuff. And the key to getting really good waves is letting the resin set up a little bit before you blow the waves out. So 20 minutes is about good. I would guess that maybe I was a tiny bit over on this because I was working on some other pieces simultaneously. So we're about probably 25 minutes before I come back and get out my trusty dusty heat gun. Just kidding. Not just kidding that time. This is my heat gun. This is a digital heat gun. I'm like, just turn it on. I'm gonna point it towards my face. My God, don't be like me at all. Again. It's got all these different temperature settings. I think like I turned it down a little bit. I don't use it on high. I use it kind of like medium low actually for the best waves because you can scorch your resin if you go too hot and you like work on it too long, and scorched resin is disgusting and nobody wants that. But yes, I got this at Ace Hardware. I did it again. Ace Hardware. Way cheaper than the Wagner version and just as good. I've got like the, I guess it's called a wedding cake, I learned. Wedding cake adapter on here. Makes the flow much smaller and more pointed, and you need this. Need this if you want to make good waves. Like, this is as important as having like good paste and good resin and all that sort of thing. So speaking of good resin, if you have ever tried to make waves in resin and they did not turn out, it is probably because you're not using good resin. And I learned that the hard way, and I think most people did too, because I think I tried with that, like the stuff that you pick up at Michael's, and it was a disaster. It was ugly, ugly, ugly. And I think I also used the casting craft stuff that some people have success with for the white epoxy paste, but for me, it just looked like more snot. Apparently that's the theme of the night, snot and coagulated worms. So you'll just have to live with me or turn me off. I mean, either way, it doesn't bother me. I can't tell. Okay. Wine. So yes, good resin. Try art resin. Try a better resin, you'll probably have a lot better luck. You know, just pay the extra money and pay and get some of this armor art. This stuff is the best. Unless you live in Australia, where you can get the Just Resin brand, which I hear is just great too. You have to have the good ingredients to make the good art. You get what you pay for in this art form. That's your little lesson and lecture for the evening. And still, it's not always gonna turn out. Case in point, this piece, oh boy, did I fight with this piece. I think I did 3 separate sessions on this one. I did the colors, and then I added like the first wave, and it looked weird. I added a second wave, and that one looked super weird. So then I added like a 3rd wave and a 4th wave, and I scraped off part of the 4th wave, and I redid that. And now I'm like, okay, it's all right. We'll deal. You know, I finished it with some pretty gold paint on the edges, and I'm gonna sell it at a craft fair this weekend, maybe, if somebody wants it. Sometimes you're just gonna fight. Sometimes it's just, I don't know. I'm what you're watching right now, I make this look so dang easy because I've never had one turn out this good before. So just keep that in mind too. A lot of times I don't do both waves in the same session. In fact, I almost never do. I don't even know what got into me that I did it at the same time on this piece. I started with the wave over the golden peach and into the afterglow, and I just thought, I bet I can get away with it. So there, I thought I'd try it, and lo and behold, I got away with it. Like, I really got away with it, like amazingly. I was like, wow, I did that, nice. Sometimes it works in your favor. Probably the phase of the moon, the exact barometric temperature, the exact barometric pressure, the temperature. I don't know. You know, I wish I knew. It would make life a lot easier if I knew why. When you're blowing out the waves, and maybe I'm the only one who does this, I don't know. I haven't seen other people do it. It's just how it works for me, is I take my heat gun and I kind of go over the wave and the adjacent resin for just a little bit to warm it up, and then I go back and blow it out. You cannot overwork the waves. If you do, you just get like white fog. Doesn't look good. Case in point, overdid the waves, I got white fog. There is a point that you have to just be like, that's it, let it go, see how it's gonna develop. And there's another little secret I can show you. You're gonna laugh because I laugh every time I see it. My secret weapon, in addition to good resin and good epoxy paste and an excellent heat gun with the right wedding cake adapter, is a spray bottle of Everclear. I kid you not. Like, I think I maybe drank this once in college, like in a Wapatuli or something, and hated my life for weeks. Everclear is the greatest cleaning product, like literally ever. So it also pops the bezels. Pops, you would think I was drinking it right now. I'm not, I swear. It's Pinot Grigio. We're safe. Anyway, so this pops the bubbles. And actually, when you are creating waves, it helps to disperse it a little more, so it actually enhances your lacing. It's pretty interesting. It's really interesting when you spray it on some alcohol inks too in resin. Like if you do it on, you know, a tile or Yupo paper or something, you just screw it up, unless that's what you're going for. But like when you're doing it in resin, it's pretty interesting. So I had been done with like a bottle of Windex or something, and I just took the top off and stuck it on the Everclear, and yeah, I clean up resin when I get wet resin on my fingers, which I do all the time. I don't even know how I do it. Like when I'm wearing gloves, I still do it. Just spray it on, clean up the countertops, clean up anything that I get resin on, which is like everything. I have resin on my jeans right now. I just like, I put my finger in it a few minutes ago. But yeah, my giant bottle of Everclear. It's a thing. It's a real thing. And it works well. You will see that I blew a whole bunch of the teal mermaid and tail feather right off the edge of the heart. So I've got a fun trick for you, resin artists, anybody who is, you know, using a lot of resin. I always keep a mold nearby. So in this case, it was this mold. I took the resin out of it, but then subsequently like spilled glitter in it. So the next thing I make is very obviously going to be like purple holographic. Anyway, so I keep molds nearby, and I scrape up all the excess resin and just toss it in the mold. And like, these were the colors left over, plus a little bit of extra purple that I had left over on the back. So this was like the actual mermaid from the heart. So these are like trash pieces in a way, but they end up cool. So this was a bunch of sessions of resin, and I just like took all the scrapings and put it into the mold, and now I've got like this fun kind of tray. Need to do something with it, you know, finish it up, but it's just keep one nearby, because then you don't waste any resin and you just never know what you're gonna get. Like, it's like cotton candy vomit from unicorn. It's very glittery. Glittery, yay. Anyway, just a word for the wise for those of you who don't like wasting, like me. Oh my gosh, I forgot latte, guys. I forgot. I found my latte. It was under that resin mold that I showed you. Latte, this is my beach color. And you see I poured this on with another line of golden peach adjacent to the wave, and then like blended those together. Wow, I'm like jumping all over the place, but you can live with that, can't you? Yes, you can. So yes, latte to golden peach, that was added, you know, prior to the whole turtle placement. If you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe and the bell, so when I come back, you'll know it and you won't miss me too much. Ha ha ha. If you're on the social medias, please find me. I am on Instagram at Painted Raina. I'm on TikTok at Witch of WTF because I'm not so afraid that TikTok is gonna like erase my account in the middle of the night like I am with Meta. Anyway, if you're wondering, Raina, are you changing your name? Yeah, long story short, hashtag WTF is banned on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure that means my account is gonna like get erased in the middle of the night if I don't change it. So this is me being proactive and saying to Meta, I just don't really want my account erased. So I'm just gonna go by Painted Raina. I'm still the Witch of what though, that's not changing. I still own the website, you can still go there. It's still me. I promise. It's just, you know, trying to play nice in the sandbox with like Zuckerberg overlooking my shoulder. So yes, social media, all my links are down below. I'm starting my own group online on the Book of Face, or as my best friend calls it, Face Brick, because sometimes this feels like a brick to your face because it's so stupid when you get on there and you're like, what am I looking at? Why am I wasting my life like this? I am opening a brand new Facebook group for people like me who cannot be niched because I just can't do one thing. It drives me insane. I go crazy. You don't want that. So I have to like do all the things. So it's called Artists Unniched, basically an art group for people who can't or don't want to stick to one thing, because I'm like oil painting now. That has nothing to do with resin pouring. Here, I'll show you. Isn't it pretty? This is like my second oil painting ever in 20 years, so more to come. But yeah, Artists Unniched. Get it? Unleashed, unniched. So link is to that below. I literally just started it, so you may be like the second person to join it. Welcome. We're gonna have a good old time. So staring at the heart, I had a vision of a sea turtle crawling out of the heart, and I'm fairly decent at working with clay and making little things. So I have some Primo by Sculpey. This is actually Primo Sculpey Accents. This particular color that I'm using is Peacock Pearl, and I sculpted a turtle. Pretty much from memory. I didn't look at any reference pictures, which you can tell by looking at the shell, because the shell pattern doesn't look at all correct for a turtle. But artistic license, right? Artistic license. You know, the sea isn't actually pink on this planet. Artistic license. It's a beautiful thing. I took a little bit of time to sculpt Mr. Turtle. I kept getting the fins wrong sized, and nobody wants a wrong sized fin turtle. I also made it too big and I had to keep cutting it down because I wanted it to like fit in the heart. You know, even though ultimately I had him kind of like crawling out of the heart, kind of like a baby sea turtle escaping to the seashells. A baby turtle escaping to the sea. Imagine I'm sounding like David Attenborough right there, but it's not working, is it? Yeah, I didn't think so. Anyway, once I had sculpted my turtle and weirdly drawn in its shell with a toothpick, I took a paintbrush and dusted on some golden peach. See, the cool thing about Piggies is you can use it on polymer clay. I actually have a video about that from a while ago where I made earrings and like out of black polymer clay, but I colored it with twinkle and glisten, so they were like interference. Oh, they were pretty. That's a thing too to use these for if you do sculptures. I mean, there's so many applications that aren't just fluid art. Also, I mean, you can bake it in the oven. Who doesn't want a pig that you can bake in the oven? Did we mention that all the proceeds of this art goes to a pig sanctuary? Yes, yes it does. Where Pigs Fly Pig Sanctuary in New South Wales, Australia. This is pretty cool. I am excited to save a pig or two, maybe to atone for some past breakfasts. Pigs are really cute though. I grew up in the country in Wisconsin, not on a farm, but surrounded by farms. And we had a pig farm downwind of our house, and we lived up a hill, and like the wind would blow across the freshly laid pig manure and up the hill and into our noses. So I don't really like the smell of pigs, but they're quite cute and they're intelligent and tasty. I baked the turtle in the oven for about 45 minutes and that was all set. All right, it is time to finish this bad boy. I am removing the tape and my little makeshift window. I used a plastic baggie again, and then just taped it down. I don't think I videotaped hot gluing it. You know, I did hot glue all around the inside of the heart where it met the plastic bag to create a barrier to catch all of the resin. So hot glue, that's like, I'm sure there's other things I could have used too. I could have probably like taped right over the hole, had a tape that didn't melt into the resin like the blue painter's tape. It's just kind of a nightmare with resin. It becomes one. They join. So not the right tape for that, but like the little plastic baggie with hot glue worked pretty good. You can see there's like not that much resin that ran off. Finishing work is so much fun. I sanded the sides with like a hand sponge, exactly, probably this one. It's blue on one side, I don't quite know why, but you know, they work great. Get the rough edges off. And then I used nail files or like little emery boards to sand the heart. Now, how am I fixing the turtle, you ask? Well, now that everything is nicely sanded, I am using, just a moment, UV resin. Dang it, again! Me and this light. Anyway, UV resin. I've used this brand a couple of times. I like it. I'll link it below if you want to get some. And it's stinky, but all resin is stinky. I don't think you'll ever escape stinky resin unless you just don't use resin and you're lost. And then I have a black light. You can see in a weird, ugly lamp fixture thing that I found at the craft store for like 50 cents in the clearance bin. So I was like, cool, this works. I also have like the nail lamp and all of that sort of thing. But I placed the turtle into the resin and then cured it immediately with the light. And then I actually put my nail lamp over it and let it cure for another half hour just to be sure that it was going to be completely done. And that is how Mr. Turtle is attached to the well. It's like part of an old joke my dad used to tell me anyway. To completely finish it off, I had to finish the sides. Once I got the tape off, the MDF was exposed. There's a cool thing about MDF though, is it's not like all that smooth. I mean, it's smooth enough, but it's not like smooth. So I use this paint. It is Deco Art Elegant Finish Metallic Paint in Champagne Gold. And I painted this over it. And because of the grain of the MDF and like the amazing amount of sparkle in this paint, it makes it look really, really beautiful. Like super shiny, super sparkly, but yet not high gloss. You know, it's like a low gloss super sparkle, which I love. All right, kids, that brings us to the end of Coagulant Comedy Hour, starring me, Painted Raina, your friendly neighborhood witch of what the co-sponsored by Everclear in a spray bottle. I swear this is my first glass of wine and I've still got some left. This is really just who I am. Thanks for being here. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much to this little piggy for having me and sticking by me, even though I have been a little bit absent while taking care of my mother. So I am just thrilled to be making art and sharing it and just having a good time being a complete goofball on camera. I appreciate that you're here. I hope you drop a comment. I respond to every single one. I will read it. It may be a while, but I will read it. I will respond. And please bid on this beautiful piece of art and save a pig, or maybe a pig and a butt, or a pig and a roast, a couple packs of bacon. I really shouldn't be talking about this. Billy and Shelley are going to kill me, aren't they? Thank you. You have a wonderful night, or day, or morning, or whatever. Cheers. Dang it, that light!